Hi again guys, I'm back with another unboxing. This is from OK Now store. Two puzzles in this package, and I just want to use that a shot because I actually want this one out of the box first. So this is the new Eitan's Twist Cube, which just looks fabulous. I've seen this for quite some time when it was used to be 3D printed. Looked great, but was too expensive as a 3D printed puzzle, I think, for what you get as a 3x3 shape mod. So I never got one then, but as soon as I saw they were being mass produced, I knew straight away that I would be buying one as soon as they became available, and that was the case. So literally, as soon as I saw the announcement on Facebook from Calvin's Puzzles that they were ready for sale, I went straight to the website and ordered them. New packaging looks quite cool. They really should get some English translation done from a native English speaker. I think Millon of combinations and changes. Enrich your eyes and brains. Enrich your eyes? Okay. Whatever. So here it is. This is the Twist Cube. So obviously, basically it looks like you grabbed a regular cube and twisted one face 90 degrees, and all the rest of the faces got twisted in the process. So yeah. So basically it's just a 3x3 shape mod, so it shouldn't be too challenging or anything. I have seen an interesting kind of parity situation that looks quite cool. And everybody's kind of done the checkerboard on this that I've seen so far, and it actually looks quite weird because, well, I'll show you. It doesn't actually look quite like a checkerboard because the colours don't match the centres, which looks quite cool. Initially, the turning feels quite good. It feels really reasonably decent quality. Oh, hang on, what have I done? There we go. Yeah, it's not obvious actually which piece belongs where some of the time. It's not obvious which piece is the centre and which piece is the corner and sort of thing. It is when you study it, but just in the middle of the turn. It does feel a little bit catchy, but that's not a great surprise because you've got some very sharp. If you look at this blue edge here, it's got a very sharp point there, so it's gonna. You can imagine that if it meets another sharp point, that's got a really good chance of being quite catchy. I wonder if it just uses the regular Calvin's 3x3 mechanism, or whether has to have something different, because it obviously cuts quite a way into the mechanism. Because if you look at that edge piece there, that's that green edge piece. That's a very, very small piece of what would be the edge if it came out this far and this high, sort of thing. You've got very, very little of it left behind. So I'd be curious to see the mechanism, but nothing's popping out easily for me to just pop it out and have a quick look. And so I don't want to break anything, so I might pop a cap off and unscrew something before I have a look at that. But I will have a look at that later because I'm curious. But yeah, so far that is. If I say easily finger trickle, then it's a bit of an understatement. That's quite loose, so it can turn it 180 degrees, and it keeps turning after I stop turning it. So if anything, that might need tightening up slightly. But yeah, this face here is perfectly tensioned, so to speak, and again easily finger trickable. So the quality is decent. What I can see straight away is what might be a slight problem. I just saw as I turn one of these, yeah, that this corner becomes a bit loose, as you can see there. It moves around a lot, and obviously the reason is once it gets to this halfway point, it's got no support behind it whatsoever, because what it would normally be leaning against on a regular 3x3 would be a flat surface here that stuck out most of the way. Of course it would be supported by that, but because that's all been cut away, that becomes quite loose, so a little bit of care might be required on that front. I'm not saying that's a fault, it's certainly not. I mean, it's just obviously, yeah, that one's the same. It's just, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not feature. It's just a result of the fact that the so much of what a regular 3x3 has been cut away, so there's obviously going to be less support, so you're just going to have to pay a little care with this. But having said that, as I've said with a lot of puzzles, it's not meant to be a speed cube, so you're going to turn it the way I'm turning it now, rather than trying to finger trick everything. The only reason I show finger tricking, it's not like I use it generally speaking in my solves, it's just to show how easily something does or doesn't turn. So yeah, turning wise at the moment it feels perfectly fine. There's slight catches now and again, but nothing that feels like I've got to stop and reverse and try and push it through several times or anything. I'm not lining it up particularly carefully, and it's turning perfectly well for the next turn, so it's got enough corner cutting. I don't want to test it too much because I don't want to put any strain on what might be a slightly fragile mechanism, and again I say that purely because there's some seriously small pieces which can't have much mechanism attached to them, rather than the fact that I actually know it's going to break. But yeah, I mean, I can feel something's catching there, but that's fine. I can feel that it is corner cutting slightly when I'm not aligning things absolutely perfectly, so that's absolutely fine. Yeah, there's no difficulty turning this into the scramble state whatsoever. Okay then, so I'll go away and give this one a solve, and I'll get back to you with some more thoughts once I've done so. Okay, so the twisted cube is solved again, as you can see. Not too difficult, nothing particularly unexpected, but the shape modification does kind of throw you off a little bit. It took a little bit of trial and error to see which way these edges needed to go against which side of the centres, but other than that, pretty much the same solve as the standard. As any standard super cube 3x with any standard 3x3 with super cube properties, so sticker mods or shape mods that require orientations of the centres. I haven't come across it. I've solved it a couple of times, but I haven't come across that situation where you end up with what looks like one edge flit. But I've seen pictures of it and I know it's possible, but it hasn't happened to me as yet. However, I do know how to solve it if and when it does occur, so I'll give it a few more solves and hopefully I'll come across that. But other than that, nothing really hugely new about this puzzle. I do have to reevaluate my comments on the quality of this. Now, it's not bad quality or anything, but it turned out in solving it, I did find it rather catchy at times, so I did have to spend a little time trying to get things lined up, and it was one of those, it's really annoying when you get this on a puzzle, one of those situations where it'll go the opposite direction to the one you want, but the direction you want seems to be blocked. But it's not a big deal or anything. As I said, there are a lot of sharp points and things, and when they meet on puzzles, it's not unusual for that kind of thing to happen. I also had this blue and white centre cap popped off during the solve, and I had no idea which way around it needed to be because I hadn't solved anything around it at the time. And for the life of me, I couldn't get it to pop back on while it was scrambled. It was dead easy once it was solved, but yeah, in scrambled form, I couldn't get it to slide in for some reason. Obviously, one of the other pieces that was around it at the time was blocking it, and once I got them all solved, it was fine. I've played with it a couple more times since, and it hasn't popped off again. So obviously, just a random, I don't know, I guess a sharp point got under there and popped it off as I was turning a face. But other than that, I am happy to have this in my collection. I think it's a great little shape mod. It looks fabulous, and yeah, really going to enjoy having this one on my shelves. And yeah, definitely recommend getting one of these if it's something that interests you. It is on the expensive side for a 3x3 shape mod, but not that bothers me. But you know, I can understand people on a more limited budget not necessarily wanting to spend that amount on what is basically quite a simple to solve shape mod. So challenge wise, it's not going to add a huge amount to your collection as it probably stands, but yeah, I think they're a great looking puzzle, and I'm really happy to have them in my collection. Alright then guys, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care now.